Hello again from the floor of my apartment. I made a video on TikTok asking you for your top questions about living in Japan, life in Japan, and I also got some personal questions apparently. I actually didn't look at this video. I asked my friend to pick like the top 20 questions and make a list for me so that I can blind react, not blind react, but kind of blind answer these questions. So I haven't read any of these questions ahead of time. I'm just going to answer them as I'm reading them for the first time to you. So I hope this isn't a total disaster. So anyway, thank you everyone who submitted their questions. Let's get into it. First question, what do you miss the most from New York? Besides the obvious, my family and friends, I think I miss healthy restaurants and cafes. In Japan, it's kind of hard to find like salad cafes or organic or vegan cafes and restaurants. Next question, how do you get a job in Japan? This is a very loaded question. There are so many different ways to get a job in Japan. Really, the easiest way to come to Japan is either as a student, which I recommend if you can, or as an English teacher. But as an English teacher, it's limited because you have to be from a native English-speaking country to be considered for most jobs. What shouldn't I miss when traveling to Japan? This is a good question, but also another loaded one. It depends what you're into. Like, are you coming to Japan because you like the pop culture and the anime and the ramen and the onigiri, or are you coming to Japan because you like the traditional culture and the nature and stuff like that? And also, is it your first time coming to Japan, second, third, fourth? So if it's your first time coming to Japan, you should probably do the golden route. See Tokyo, see Kyoto, and maybe choose one other place that's off the beaten path so that you can experience like the real Japan. Okay, next. Oh, what visa are you on? I'm on a working visa. It's called a humanities visa, I think, and it's for Eikaiwa teachers. It's different, it's a little different than the ALT visa. So if I did want to switch to an ALT job, I would have to switch my visa, but I think it's an easy switch. Next, how long are you in Japan for? This is a good question because I don't know the answer to that either. The way that I currently feel right now is I can't picture leaving Japan, but I'm also still in the honeymoon phase of Japan. I've only been here 1 year. I still think everything's amazing and magical and I love every second of it. So I don't know. I don't know what my future holds. I'll definitely be here for at least another few years, but exactly how long, I'm not sure. Moving on. Is teaching English terrible? I don't think it's terrible. It depends though on you. Like, I'm saying it depends for everything. This is a terrible Q&A. I'm sorry you guys. I'm not answering anything. For me, I love teaching. I think it's so much fun. I don't like English per se. Actually, it was my least favorite subject in school. I thought it was really boring. As an Eikaiwa teacher, you actually get to, you're leading the class. Like you're actually teaching adults and kids. So it's pretty rewarding, I have to say. I don't hate it. I don't think it's terrible. The hours are terrible. That's what sucks. But teaching self, not trouble at all. If you weren't in Japan, what would you be doing? Probably still cooking. For those of you who don't know, I was a chef before I moved to Japan. I went to culinary school and then I worked for a company developing recipes. I wouldn't be still working for that company. Actually, it went out of business because of COVID. And I also definitely wanted to leave New York. So I would probably be in California or Hawaii or somewhere warm in America or maybe another country even. Are there any Japanese foods you can't eat in Japan? I think this is a personal question. I used to be a very picky eater. So Japan has challenged me a lot in a good way. It's kind of a comfort zone I've always wanted to step out of. But there is one thing that I don't think I can do, and that's raw chicken. I can't do raw chicken. Next one. What's your favorite anime? My favorite anime is... I disappoint people with this answer all the time. My favorite anime is Mushishi. Usually people are disappointed because they're like, I don't know about it, and if they do know about it, they think it's boring. I think that's why I like it, is because it's boring. Next, what camera do you use? I use a Canon G7X. It is light, it is cheap, and it is pretty easy, reliable, user-friendly. You can't hook up an external mic, but I actually think the sound quality is so good that you don't need it. I don't know, what do you guys think? That's what I'm using right now. How is it? Let me know. Next, who is your favorite J-vlogger? I really like Norm from Tokyo Lens. I'm very inspired by his documentary style stuff. I think it's so cool. He puts so much effort into his videos and it's so clear. He kind of likes the parts of Japan that I like, so I really resonate with his videos. Okay, next question. What are your hobbies? Actually, my hobbies are making YouTube videos and studying Japanese. I used to have a lot of hobbies before when I had free time. I used to like playing instruments and learning instruments. Hiking. I love hiking. That's like my favorite thing to do. I do that all the time still. Oh my god, my hair looks so terrible. Let me go fix this and I'll come back. Okay, my hair still looks like crap, but whatever. We fixed it a little bit. How's dating in Japan? Well, actually, to be honest, I don't have that much experience dating in Japan. I've only been here 1 year and I was kind of dating someone for like 6 months during that time, and we decided to just be friends. It's really hard to meet people on the dating apps here. In Japan, there's a culture of not showing your face on social media and not really sharing anything personal on social media, so it's really hard to like know who to swipe on because you don't have anything to go off of, almost no information. Like usually almost all of them are like, I like sake, or like here's a picture of food I like. It's like, cool, that tells me almost nothing about you, like, so swipe left. I think it's left is the X one. Let's like fix the lighting a little bit. That's better. Okay, next question. How do you deal with homesickness? I actually don't really get homesick. I do miss my family a lot and I just call them when I do. But as for missing New York, I don't. I was there 28 years. I experienced it enough. I loved it. It's my home city and I'm really happy here, and every day is so much fun and I'm exploring and I'm not really missing home at all. What is your favorite convenience store? Probably Lawson. I like Lawson because it's really close to me and convenient, and I know it really well because I'm there all the time, but I'm just biased because it's close to me. Usually people like 7-Eleven. They think it has the best food, but I don't really see a difference. I think they're all good. How do you study Japanese? So I take Japanese classes online twice a week. Then I also use Wanikani for kanji and Japanese Pod 101 to brush up my grammar and vocabulary. I also use Hello Talk to try to practice conversations with people, both in writing and on video chat face to face. It's hard. It takes a lot of time to master a language, especially one that's so different from your own language, but ganbarimashou. Is it expensive to live in Japan? No. It's actually really cheap to live in Japan. What's expensive is traveling in Japan. So if you're like me and you love to travel, you will be spending all your money on train and bus tickets. Why did you choose Kochi? I chose Kochi because I wanted to live in Shikoku. I wanted to live somewhere where there's a lot of good nature, and Kochi is like packed with really good nature. Clear rivers and like gorgeous mountains and views and just like everything you could want from nature scenes, like at all. I also wanted to go somewhere off the beaten path. I was living in one of the world's major cities for 28 years. I really wanted a different experience. Next question. What are some of your biggest culture shocks? I knew I was gonna get this one and I still didn't prepare for it. There's one thing actually that I learned recently that was kind of culture shock for me, and it's about dating and relationships. I know you guys love to hear about that. Married couples will often not live together in Japan. Like if a husband like gets a job in another prefecture, like he'll move by himself, like without his family, without his wife, without his kids. In America, if that happens, usually it means like, oh no, like they're getting divorced. It was shocking to me. Is it difficult having tattoos in Japan? No, not at all. I have quite a bit of tattoos. Here are my tiny ones on my wrists, but I also have some big ones. There's one in the back of my neck, there's one on my thigh, one on my other thigh, one on my ankle, and one on my ribs. So the only place that it's really a problem is if I want to go to onsen and there's some public beaches where I would have to cover up. Maybe some temples and stuff you can't expose tattoos, but generally it's fine. I just use private onsen or find onsen that are tattoo friendly because there's quite a bit of those. Now that Japan has more and more tourists and a lot of foreigners have tattoos, yeah, it's not a problem. No problem at all. Okay, I have 2 more questions. How do you make friends in Japan? It was hard at first. I did not have any friends for like the first 6 months that I lived here. the first 4 months that I lived here. You can make friends. Usually there's a foreigner like Facebook group in the area of Japan you're living in, so you can make friends there. I also just recommend joining a club or activity of your interest. You can make local and foreigner friends. Yeah, so for example, if you like yoga, go to a yoga studio and join some yoga classes. You can meet people there who have similar interests. Kind of the same, you'd make friends anywhere else. Last one, why did you decide to move to Japan? So I'm gonna give you guys the real answer to this question. I always wanted to live abroad and learn another language. Learning a second language was kind of a life goal of mine. Then I went to culinary school. My school was rooted in macrobiotics, which is kind of a Japanese food philosophy, and we used a lot of Japanese ingredients, and I fell in love with these ingredients. We used yuzu, umeboshi, kombu, shiitake, shoyu. Like, we were making vegetarian and vegan food, and to like make this food as flavorful and not boring as possible using all of these ingredients was helpful. I fell in love with the ingredients. I came backpacking here by myself and I started studying Japanese, and I fell in love with the Japanese language. I don't know why, but something about the language resonated with me. I think kanji is really cool and kind of poetic. Like, each kanji has its own meaning, and you put them together with other kanji to make like a secondary meaning. And I wanted to visit Japan all the time just so I can be immersed in this language. And I started taking conversation classes in New York, and I just couldn't get enough of it. And every time I landed in Japan, when I was visiting, I felt like I was landing home, and when I would leave Japan, I would feel homesick in a way that I don't feel for New York when I leave America. So I just decided I had to move here, and I did. It's been really awesome so far, and I love it. So yeah, so the Japanese language is actually the real reason I'm in Japan. Yeah, I don't usually tell people that because they're always like, well, why? Like, why do you like this language so much? It's so difficult. And I have trouble explaining it. I don't really know. It just resonates. I just like it. It's fun. Maybe because it's so challenging, it's so rewarding when you do make progress in it, and when you can have a conversation. Like, every time I achieve anything in Japan, like first time I go to the post office and successfully send a package and I'm able to be understood and understand what they're asking me, I'm like so happy. Thanks so much for all of your questions. For those who asked, for those who are just watching and tuning in, thank you as well. I hope this was helpful to you in some way. That's it for today. I'm gonna go make some lunch now, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.